I choked my little brother in his sleep and I don't know why. Before I start, I want to say this is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. I also apologize for this being long. I think it's important to start from the beginning before I get to what the title says. I was November 12th. I made terrible jokes in school for attention. One joke I'd make, wasn't just me, regularly, was that my parents would hit me a lot. They never physically abused me. I think it's 'cause I'm Indian ethnically that the joke seemed believable and I got asked a lot of questions and some people even laughed. Me and one of friends at the time would compete with each other with whose parents hit us more. Again, they never abused us, we liked the attention. However, little did I know that my teacher at the time heard one of my terrible jokes about my parents once and called up social services, without speaking to me. I still remember the faces on my parents when I got home from school. I was unaware. They explained the school had called and they might take my little brother and I away because of what I said. I cried. I was embarrassed and scared. To make a long story short, nothing happened. Social services visited my house, looked around the house, and interviewed my brother and I. I explained the misunderstanding, they understood and left, but I'd be lying if that one incident didn't fuck me up mentally for a couple months/years after. The months following that started my downfall, mentally. I became paranoid and stopped speaking in school. I was afraid that my words might put me in a similar situation. It was a complete and total loss of confidence within myself for making such a terrible mistake. Riddled with guilt. I would overthink my own words at times when I was speaking and retract sentences if I felt like it could be easily misunderstood. For some odd reason, I started to make my bed before sleeping. Spending 2/3 hours making sure my bed had no wrinkles and my bedsheet was evenly distributed. That was just the beginning. I started having disturbing, disgusting nightmares. Some nightmares where for some unexplained reason my mum/dad were naked in it. I was disturbed, no idea why I was having that. It happened for a couple nights. One night I stayed up to avoid having that nightmare. That's just one example, by the way. I also had nightmares of my brother being kidnapped for a whole week. Torture. Then the intrusive thoughts started. I was too young to understand what was going on, but I would always say it's my brain telling me things. The intrusive thoughts got worse, to the point where in the night I had the thought of choking my brother in his sleep. I battled the thoughts, it wouldn't stop, I even begged my brain to stop. I knew it was wrong. But to shut my brain up, I did it. I still remember what I did, my hands wrapped around my 8-9-year-old brother's neck as I squeezed harder and harder and harder as tears fell down my face. He coughed. I let go. I checked if he's breathing. I controlled my tears, crawled into bed and cried for hours on end. I didn't sleep that night. I hated myself. Even writing this, I feel like shit. I told my parents and brother what I did. They were disturbed and shocked, and naturally it took some time for everyone to get over it. Actually, it was during that period where my brother started sleeping in my parents' room with my mom and my dad slept in the guest room. I told my dad about the other issues I was dealing with. He's a doctor and I think he understood that I needed someone to listen. One thing he told me was anytime I have terrible nightmares/thoughts to tell my brain that it's stupid. That's exactly what I did, and within a week everything stopped. I felt free. I didn't have intrusive thoughts or any disgusting nightmares. I had control over my mind. Mental peace. It's been 12-13 years. I haven't had any issues since, but those couple of weeks was mental torture and I never want to experience it again. There are times when my mum mentions that she was scared of me during that period, not for my brother or herself, but what I could do to myself. My family is close. I tell my parents and brother everything, my brother and I are close. Nothing has changed from that aspect. I sometimes think about the past and this terrible moment crops up and I don't sleep. I feel so guilty and I still don't know why I did it. I feel like a shitty brother and I am. I could have been better. I work in finance now and I have a girlfriend, been together 3 years, who I love. I haven't told her this incident, but I feel guilty for not telling her. How do I tell her? She'll break up with me, it's the right choice. It's eating me up. Before I finish this off, I want to say that I'm confessing this not for sympathy. I will never not feel guilty. I knew it was wrong and still did it, that's what kills me inside. I'm the older brother, I'm supposed to protect my little brother, not hurt him. I made a terrible choice that night, which to this day I don't know why I made it apart from because my brain told me. At the end of that day, I'm glad I got over whatever was happening to me all those years ago. I don't have any issues now. What's scary is that it only lasted no more than a couple of weeks or months, but the lessons learned are long-term. I don't have nightmares, no intrusive thoughts and no bed making before I sleep. I just wish it never happened. I apologize if this disturbed anyone.